In this video, we will demonstrate a post-screener interview for a student who is screened positive. This particular example was chosen because the initial identified trauma on the screener was likely not the event that was contributing to the student's symptoms. While we recognize that trauma is subjective, it's important to work with the student to identify a traumatic event where there is a significant loss, threat, or danger posed to themselves or others. This student identified 10 trauma exposures on the screener. The student's PTSD score was a 21, and we know that PTSD scores greater than 14 are clinically significant. The student also had a clinically significant depression score.
As you watch the video, pay attention to how the interviewer gathers more information about the student's experiences and symptoms, and works with the student to identify an anchor trauma to work on in the group. If the student is appropriate for CBITS, the interview should result in having one specific trauma identified to work on during the CBITS group, even if they've experienced multiple traumatic events.
Hi Nelsie, I'm Miss Kind. I'm the school social worker here, and so thanks for coming down to meet with me. I wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking with you about the screener that you did a few weeks ago on the computers. Do you remember when you answered all those questions? Yeah, and so I had a chance to read through your screener, and I just have a couple questions to ask you about that today. But before we get into that, I just want to talk to you a little bit about confidentiality. Do you know what that big word means?
Oh, like you can't tell people what I say?
Exactly. Yeah, and so I'm not going to tell your friends or your teacher about what we talk about unless if I'm concerned about your safety. So if you're going to hurt someone or yourself, or if someone's hurting you or has hurt you, your safety always comes first. And so then we'd make a plan for keeping you safe. Any questions about that? No? Okay. And so I noticed you checked yes to a lot of different things on the screener for things that you have been through, for really scary or traumatic things. And so I'm hoping to ask you a little bit about them. But I noticed also that at the end you wrote about the thing that bothers you most is your pet chinchilla died. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so he was like my favorite pet, and yeah, it was just really sad.
What was his name?
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Oh, nice choice.
Thanks.
Are you a big Bieber fan?
I mean, I used to be, but not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, yeah. And so how long ago did Justin Bieber die?
He died like right before school started.
Oh, wow. And so just a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And so Justin Bieber, your favorite pet, died, and then school started, and you started 6th grade, a new school. That seems pretty overwhelming, huh? Lots going on for you. Yeah, sorry to hear about that. Yeah. Wanted to ask you just about a few other things that you mentioned on the screener that you said yes to also. The first one is I noticed that you said yes to being in a really bad accident. You also said yes to being rushed to the hospital.
Yeah.
Are those two things connected or separate?
Yeah,
incidents?
no, that was at the same time.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
And so would you tell me just maybe a couple sentences about what happened and how old you were?
Yeah, so I was in a car accident last year in 5th grade, so it was like at the beginning of the school year, and my mom and brother and I were driving, and she crashed.
She crashed the car.
And then we had to go to the hospital because I broke my leg.
Oh, wow.
And I got some bruises and stuff.
Ouch.
And then, and then my mom broke her wrist.
Okay. Sounds really scary.
Yeah.
So a bad accident. If you were both hurt, was your brother okay?
No, he got some bruises and some scratches and stuff, but he was okay.
Yeah. Oh,
but we were like arguing and stuff, and so I think that might be why we crashed. But yeah, so like my mom was like yelling at us when we crashed and stuff.
Okay, so kind of everyone was in a fight when it happened.
Yeah, because my brother was like messing with me, and I was like smacking him, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And so, what's it like for you talking to me about this right now and here?
I mean, it's okay. I don't really like talking about it. So I try not to. If I can
try not to talk about it. Yeah, and so that's one of the things that I noticed on your screener is that you often try to avoid thinking about the really scary or upsetting things that have happened to you. Yeah. Are there other ways that maybe you avoid thinking about the car accident? Like, for example, some people that I know who have been in bad car accidents, like, try not to go by the intersection where it happened or things like that.
Like, my mom will always, like, drive, like, around the block or something, so we don't have to go by it, because we really don't like to go by it.
Where did it happen?
Just, like, a few blocks from my house, so we just go the other way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were like pretty close to home when it happened.
Okay, so it maybe makes your drive a little bit longer depending on which direction you're headed.
A little bit sometimes.
Yeah. Other things related to the car accident that maybe you have a harder time doing now, or that you don't do?
I mean, I don't really like to be in the car, and I like try to like just not sit in the same seat where I was sitting. So yeah, I just like my brother will just sit over there. Or, like if we have a friend in the car, they'll sit on that side.
Okay.
Yeah, because it just like reminds me.
Reminds you of getting hurt and being in the accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And are there times when you are forced to, or you have to sit in that seat?
I mean, they've tried, but I just pitch a fit.
You just you just can't.
And then that usually works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like it.
Yeah. Like, what's it like for you to hear about accidents that maybe other people got into, or if you ever hear about them on the news or things like that?
Well, I've seen like, if it comes on the news, I just like change the station.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just like try and like change the subject if someone's talking about an accident. But sometimes like if you see like ambulances or like like cop lights or something, like sirens, I really don't like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just like reminds me of having.
Well, and that's kind of hard to avoid because you don't know when they're coming. And I mean, you can't really plan for that.
Yeah.
Right? You can plan for sitting in a different seat, but the sirens are probably tougher.
Yeah. So that happens sometimes. That's kind of freaky.
Yeah. And I noticed that you have bad dreams or nightmares too. When did those start?
They started sometime, I guess. I mean, I started having like more last year. You know.
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed on your screener is you said that you get angry a lot. And you said, I think you said, almost all the time.
Yeah.
You get angry or you feel angry. Say a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, my mom and I argue all the time, and so I'm like really mad at her most of the time. And then teachers have told me like I have a really bad attitude because they're always making me mad. So sometimes I'll just like walk out of class.
Really?
Like if I get really mad at the teacher.
Did that just start last year, or has that been going on kind of forever or for a while?
No, like mostly like in 5th grade. Like, I didn't really
after the accident too.
I guess so. Yeah.
Huh.
5th grade, like I didn't like my teacher that much in 5th grade.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, sounds like it was a tough year for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah. So who can you talk to about the accident or get support when you're?
I don't really talk
really
about it.
Worried about it. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because my mom won't talk about it. I think it still freaks her out, so she don't talk about it.
Yeah, and you mentioned you don't really like talking about it.
Yeah.
You're not even really.
Yeah, my brother and I don't get along that well, so I don't talk to him about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll circle back to that in a minute. I also saw that you've seen someone getting beaten up and you've been hurt before too. Is there anything you want me to know about?
No, I mean it was like just this thing on the bus, but
if you have any concerns about bullying or if kids are bothering you, I want you to feel comfortable here in middle school also telling teachers about it, or you can always come to me and I can help you with that too. So it seems like, kind of looking through your screener, that really the thing that is bothering you the most and really getting in the way of just being a 6th grader for you right now is the car accident, because you're having, you're started feeling pretty angry about it or after it, and you can't talk to your mom about it, and certainly, we want you to be able to feel okay if you hear a siren or maybe even be able to drive through that intersection again someday, maybe. Would you say that that's probably the thing that
I guess so. I mean, I think about my chinchilla the most because it was so sad when Justin Bieber died.
Oh, I'm sure it was. But that does sound really sad. Yeah. So the good news, Nelsie, is that we have a really nice program here for 6th graders. It's called CBITS. It's a 10-week-long group that you can do with other students who are 6th graders who have been through really scary or really stressful things like you. A lot of times it's really common for kids to want to avoid things or not talk about things, and for kids to have some of the same issues or concerns that you've been telling me about. And this group really helps kids feel better about those things. And so in the group, we work on different strategies for relaxing your body, or we come up with different tools for thinking about stressful things differently. And we probably can even give you some ideas for how to manage your anger well. And so hopefully you don't get into trouble so much this year.
That'd probably be good.
Yeah, that'd probably be nice.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. And so the group is probably going to start in the next month or two. It's 10 weeks long, like I said, and you also would meet with me or the other adult facilitator 1 or 2 times to talk about the car accident a little bit more in more detail. Do you think that you'd be willing to give that a go?
I guess so.
Oh, thanks for being so open to giving that a try. I appreciate that. Do you have any questions?
Do you have to tell my mom?
Yeah, great question. Glad you asked. Your mom needs to know that you're in the group. It sounds like the car accident was pretty stressful for her too.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't necessarily know all of the details of everything you share, but we would encourage you to talk with your mom kind of each week after group about some of the things we're working on, and she would know in general what skills we're working on in the group. But if there's certain things that you're worried about, we'll help support you with that during the group.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're open to doing it, which is really nice to hear, my next step would be to give your mom a call, and I'm going to tell her just a little bit about the group and see if she'd be willing to let you do it. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be okay.
Anything else that you want me to know about the group? The other thing that we would make sure is that you're never in a group with someone who you feel unsafe with or someone who bullies you. And so we'd be, you mentioned there was a student last year, and so we would make sure that you wouldn't ever be in that same group.
Okay, good.
With
Yeah, that'd
him
be good.
Either. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to chat with me about today, Nelsie, before you go back to gym class?
Nope.
Well, thanks for taking a little time out of your day. We will see you around, okay?
Thanks.
All right.